Hello Commanders, welcome to the command table. My name is Matt, and we have multiple ways to take down Wicker for you today. So if you'd please be so kind as to like, subscribe, and if you want notifications when I drop new videos, be sure to hit that notification bell. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. You can also hop on the command table Discord channel, the link will be in the description. You can usually get a jump start on the boss with the strategies that are posted there before I make this video. Alright, let's go ahead and hop in. We have an Anturium build. This is a Troll Giant's Toe build, rank 4. He's using 2 catapults, a Rhino, a Celestial Spear, a Drummer, and looks like 3 Crystal Spires. So, something that I'm not entirely sure is that I think this top Crystal Spire is only hitting 2 targets. The bottom 2 look like they're hitting 3. It's kind of hard to tell because some of the lines overlap, but I'm not sure about that top one. So there may be a little bit of damage loss there, but I think he's got reload on pretty much everything, both the Celestial Spear and the 2 catapults. So very, very strong build for the toe, using some very heavy hitters there. Let's see, let's go ahead and have a look at Nikolas. This is a no-elixir build. Anturium was using the accuracy elixir, but this one's a melee build and you can do it without that. There's a huge discrepancy between the melee elixir and the accuracy elixir. The melee elixir only gives you a 25% bonus damage, whereas the accuracy elixir for ranged builds gives you 750%. So not as big of a buff from the melee elixir, which means that once you reach a certain point you don't absolutely need it, but it is, here, let's look at that one again. It is certainly helpful if you're cutting it close. Now you'll notice that first spear strike took out about 15% of the boss's HP, and that's really what does most of the lifting in these builds, is the Spear of Cataclysm. Once you get it to rank 4, it hits about once every second, I think, second or two, and it's just incredible how much damage it does when it hits, especially when it hits these packs of minions. So he's using Stompers on this so that he doesn't have to use the Force Resistance elixir, but very neat that you can get it done without any elixirs at all. Okay, we have Immortalis. This is a ranged elixir build. He's going to show us his power stones, got reload there on the Celestial Spear. If you have Blast, you want to put it on your Stormguards. He's using the Frost Knights to apply the freeze debuff. If you're going to spread your units up and down like this, then you can use those 2 groups of Frost Knights to get better coverage along that front line. You notice he's got a Rhino, some Chaos Archers, and a Celestial Spear in there as well, and regular Archers. The Chaos Archers I find are somewhat less effective because you'll notice that they push past and they start shooting all this stuff in the back because there's a lot of targets back there and none of them have freeze on them. So if you've got a high level Arcane Archer, or not Arcane Archer, Chaos Archer, sorry. If you've got a high level Chaos Archer, then it might not be that big of a deal, but if you've got a comparably leveled regular Archer, you might as well switch those out so that you focus on the frozen targets. Okay, Gorkamorka shared a build, so I replicated that with my second profile. Figure I'll show that here. Okay, no Power Stones on the Frost Knights. We've got Berserk on a couple, or at least the one Warhound, and pretty much nothing on some of the other guys. Very low on Power Stones since we're still kind of early in this first season of the era. But fortunately, with Spear 4, that'll do most of the work. We're using the Time Elixir, but it may not ultimately be necessary. It's going to be kind of hit or miss, because you'll notice every time that spear gets the multiple strikes, it really racks up the damage. So 19 seconds left. I had 9 seconds to spare, so I really didn't need the Time Elixir for this attempt, but that's because I had a ton of spear strikes. You could get very unlucky and have all your spear strikes happen over here, or just hit the boss itself, and that's only 1 tag, whereas if it hits these clusters you get 8 or 9. So it is possible to do without elixirs, just like Nikolas did, but again, you're kind of throwing it to the RNG on the spear strikes, so use if you feel you need it. If a note on that, let's just pop that back up again. Since I'm using the boots, it's yeah, we'll have that pop up again in a second here, but the force resistance elixir is not required. But also, function of the boots is that your units will avoid damage, because typically the earthquake debuff would kill your units at about 30 seconds. But with the boots, they do miss damage from time to time, so you'll notice that not everything takes damage. So that's why at the 30-second mark, let's go ahead and skip up to that, you'll notice that I'm going to have a lot of units left, even though some of them die. So poof. But look at that, I still have about a third of my units. They're able to keep going, and that enables the spear to strike a few more times. And so yeah, if your units aren't as high level, then you may be able to use that tactic of having the stompers carry you through that extra time. So let's show you Stormguard boosting. Okay, this is, we'll pause it here in a second once it gets to the Stormguards. But Frost Wizard, I prefer the Frost Wizard over the Frost Knights because it kind of penetrates back to the units that are behind. I only put 2 Crystal Spires up front. Okay, here's the Stormguards. Let's go ahead and pause it. I only put the 2 Crystal Spires up front because of what I mentioned with Anturium's build, that the more Crystal Spires you stack, the less you can center them to that group that's right there, and harder it is for those Crystal Spires to hit more than 2 targets. So the damage ranking is that Stormguards will do the most damage per army point at the same level as any of these other units. The Crystal Spires are next, followed by the Hammer Throwers and then the Archers. I think the Celestial Spear is somewhere in between Archers and Hammer Throwers, but I'd have to check the spreadsheet. So when you're using the boost, you want to try and magnify that boost on your Stormguards. So I've gotten these 3 extra Stormguards to rank 50, and that unlocks the second Power Stone slot, which gets me Blast. Then I focus all of my other upgrades on whatever I get to 100, then I get the next one working towards 100, and then have 3 at level 50. So when this one gets to 100, I'm going to add another Stormguard, get it to rank 50, and then start leveling this one up to 100, and that way I always have 3 at rank 50 until I run out of room. So that's the concept behind that. The boost, you'll notice, gets those Stormguards to level 83. So huge boost by putting one of the common boost points, because you can do up to 3 of them, on those Stormguards, and that gets me that second Power Stone slot at level 50. So that's why I'm doing that. Stormguards do the most damage out of all those units, so why not put the boost on them? Okay, so let's go ahead and let that run through. Hammer Throwers should have, yeah, one of them has double reload and damage. I don't put reload on the Stormguards because Blast actually will do more in the next season. Right now it does 20% bonus damage, and reload is only 25% chance at an extra attack. So I'd rather put the Blast on the Stormguards because they're the only ones that can benefit from that Power Stone, because you'll notice that they're the closest ones to the target. That puts them within range of where Blast would take effect. Hammer Throwers do not get close enough to benefit from Blast, so you might as well put your other Power Stones on them or the Archers. But again, Hammer Throwers do more than Archers, so I would focus my Power Stones on the Stormguards, the Crystal Spires, the Hammer Throwers, then the Archers. Okay, here's my nothing over 50 build. This is rank 10, so star rating 10, and we're doing the melee swarm. Very similar to Gorkamorka, how he had his setup, but it's kind of the common melee swarm. It's just stack as many Warhounds as you possibly can, as many Wraiths as you can, and try to get at least 2 Frost Knights in there to apply the Frost debuff to maximize the damage. Frozen targets take an additional 50% damage, so it's worth having at least a group of Frost Knights, if not 2, because if you can freeze that front line of targets and get those all your units doing 50% bonus damage, it's worth those 2 army points. Okay, so again, this is star rating 10, nothing over 50, and I think for this profile I'm not going to level any artifacts over rank 3. So we're just going to try to keep this as a Smurf profile to demonstrate for lower star ratings. There you go, we got 5 seconds left, but you'll notice that the phylactery really starts to crank. I did get one little clip with the spear. That was the only time it hit, and it was on a pack in the back there. That might have... I've run that build 3 more times, and I've always managed to get the heart without any trouble. So there was just barely one spear strike on that, and you can usually count on at least one, even with a rank 1 spear. Sometimes you'll get incredibly unlucky. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Again, you can check out the Discord channel, see if we have any updates over the course of the raid. That'll show you how to save some more elixirs and keys if possible. Thank you to everybody who contributed. We had Dr. Vive, Anturium, Immortalis, Gorkamorka, and Nikolas share their builds with us today. So thank you everybody for helping. The biggest thing you can do to support the channel right now is to subscribe. We are 3/4 of the way to 1,000 subscribers. So as soon as we get to 1,000, we can apply to get monetized. Once we get monetized, we'll have some resources that we can throw into the channel. We'll look into getting a website up and do all that kind of stuff. So thanks for all your support. Appreciate you, and we will have more content for you in the near future.